So we're going to start the general session of our meeting. And again, I want to thank everybody for being here. This is a great turnout, so I appreciate that. So what we're going to do next is those who can stand up, we're going to pledge allegiance to our great flag. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So what, before I start.
Talk into the microphone.
Okay, I'm sorry, I was like this. Before I start with the guests.
Talk
and
into
new
the microphone.
members, Before I start with the guests and the new members, I think everyone here. Oh, sorry.
Hold the button. There you
I must have turned it off. Hello?
Hey,
So, I know most of you all have been members a long time before I have, and most of you all know, George
Copenhagen.
Kopanek. And, I just wanted to let you know that he is not doing very well right now. He's in the hospital. So if you all would like to send him a card or an email, he would love to have that, and that we're thinking of him. So everybody, if you pray, leave George in your prayers, and Rose also.
How's Rose?
What hospital?
How's Rose?
I don't know the hospital yet. I talked to her Friday. I don't know the hospital yet.
Jane, how is Rose?
Not good. Donna, can you?
Not good.
Not good. Not good. I'm communicating this, yes.
Can't hear you.
You have to talk into the mic.
Sorry. Okay, so I just wanted to bring that business up because we have to think of all our members here. And I know most of y'all know him. So do we have any guests in the room? Any new members?
Yes.
What's your name?
Mike Astle.
Mike Hassel, nice to meet you. What's your name?
Jill Owens.
Jill Oven, nice to meet you. Welcome to our group. This is great. Thanks for coming to our meeting. Next.
Oh, sorry. Falling down on my job.
Okay, again, we just want to rehash. Why we are a group here, and we have benefits as members. But one of the big benefits that we have is, we have a group of people led by Lydia who take in donations and refurbish laptops and computers. And we get monitors, keyboards, mice,
Mouses?
and sometimes speakers that we give out, but we give it to the school kids that, children that cannot afford them, and it's a great, good for our heart that we do that, and to our nonprofits, like through St. Vincent de Paul or the Veterans or Volunteers of America, that we give computers out. So if anybody has any laptops or desktops they don't need, we'll take them and do what we can to refurbish them for a future of America. And then the other thing we do is, you went too far,
I did?
is every year, right now, we're doing, scholarships for high school, for Charlotte High School, Port
Charlotte High.
Lemon Bay,
And
and Port Charlotte High. My brain, I was thinking Punta Gorda, and I know that that's where Charlotte High is over there. So we give out scholarships. We have a committee. Jan, is the main person on the committee, and some of us, we look at what the seniors have put in, and we to vote on who we're gonna give scholarships to, and that's a wonderful thing that we do. And of course, our member benefits is, we help you with, one of the things is if you have a Windows 10 machine and you wanna, if it can go to 11, we'll help you with that. If not, we'll help you extend the warranty on for the next year is what Microsoft is saying right now. We can help with that. We can help with your Gmail or your email issues, with your File Explorer, with anything that you have. We will gladly help you if you would like to come into the office. And I think that's the other thing that we do is, we do have refurbished for members. We give out Windows 11 laptops or desktops. And they are like, a desktop is 75, a laptop's 100. So that's a really good deal if anyone is in need of a new laptop or desktop.
And with the desktop, you also get the keyboard, the monitor, mouse.
Right. Okay, now you can move along. So we have, and it's further along on the slide, I'm gonna talk about our website, but we do have, some things on Nextdoor, and I know, I know that Vera has answered people's questions on Nextdoor where they're asking for help with their computer, and Vera goes, well, there is this club in Charlotte County and it's called Charlotte County Computer Group. If you'd like to join, we can help you. So if you ever go out there and see information, I don't think we post really a lot of stuff out there, but we do get new people that in the area that are part of our group. So get the word out. And every month, we always want volunteers in the office. And we have, like today, we have, Rob has been with us for quite a while to help us set up everything. And I'm new at it, that's why we've had some issues here, and we've had other people help out. So in the office, we have front desk people that answer the phone, that help get the computers out to the school children or the nonprofits or to members. When people walk in, they greet them to find out what they need. Then we have technical support. And technical support is doing like what Mary and Fran and Gustavo have done, is help people with their computer. Like Nanette has a problem where she thinks her drive is going bad, so she would make an appointment. And one of the technical support people will help her look at her computer and help her with a new battery, if we have it in the house. And then we have the refurbishing and tear down. And we have a group of people, there's really no one here that's doing that right now.
Lydia.
Except for Lydia.
Don't forget Lydia.
I said, except for Lydia. But she's got a crew of people that take things and then there's another person, another technical person, Stan, who's not here, that's been helping out as a technical support and in Lydia's area. And then instructors, presenters, Lydia right now has a class, I believe, this Thursday. It's the only one this month due to the Thanksgiving holiday. Thanksgiving on a Thursday, we usually have our board meeting the last Thursday of the month, and we're moving it up to the Thursday before. And we're hoping to have more classes, because one of the things that I hear and I heard today is help with email, help with your documents in your file explorer, and I've helped a lot of people in that arena. So I would like to have a class there, and we do have a new person who I thought was gonna be here today that was wanting to do some training too, so look in the future monthly meeting bites, and we'll have some more information on that. So if anybody's willing to do that, that would be good. So this is similar to the, what is this one? Volunteer
about getting
opportunities. I
volunteers
think
and
I
what we
kind
need.
of went through everything on this one. Did I miss
But the
something?
important thing is that you will be trained. We have procedures of how things are done in the office, and Jane's done a wonderful job of pulling all that together. And so training is provided, and it's been very good. Stephanie is new to that training. How did you find it?
It's, you go a couple of times when you start to see the process going, but yeah, you definitely need the hands, all hands on deck. Anybody
Yes.
who can help, and it's just they're only open 4 hours. So it's a really short part of your life to invest in the club. And it makes a big difference in the lives of the kids, the people
Yes.
that we're actually, our mission is for.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, so due to not having enough volunteers, we are still on a 3-day work week, which is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, from 10 to 2. And one of the things we'd really like for you, if you do have a need, call the office and set up a time. We're taking appointments at 10 o'clock, 11, 12, or 1. And giving you an hour with whoever the technical support person is there. So if you could keep that in mind, I mean, we will help walk-ins, but you gotta remember, sometimes we're covered up and you may not be able to be waited on that day, but if you make an appointment, it makes it a lot nicer. And the other thing you can do is if you do have a problem with your computer, you can drop it off. We document everything, give you a number for if it's a laptop, always bring your power cord with you. And we'll put a number on there and we'll take whatever the problem is. The same with the desktop. The desktop, just bring your tower if you have a problem. We don't need the keyboard, we don't need the monitor.
Unless it has a special plug.
Right, and there are a few towers that have, instead of the regular, 3-prong, it's got some different kind of a power. Oop, you went big on me.
Yeah,
Okay, let's see, I'm going to put my notes here.
well, we swapped out too. It's your screen, not mine. Okay.
Okay, so do we have any questions thus far?
Let me unshare and I'll share back again.
Okay,
Oops.
so the next thing we have on here
Stop share.
is we were going to have Bob Hardiman he is the, yes. I have more information for you on George. So George will be in Lee Memorial Hospital as of tomorrow morning for early surgery. He is expected to be there for 4 to 5 weeks. Best communication probably would be his email. And it's, we can give it out to you. It's G with his last name at gmail.com. Any cards probably would be best to send to the house and Rose will take them to him. The address, well, it's on the membership list, but we don't publish that. Oh, and as far as Rose, I'm hanging in there and taking one day at a time. So far, my health is stable. So again, any prayers for George and Rose. Thank you, Mama. I didn't realize I was saying your name wrong for years. I'm sorry. Okay, so. And our meetings are the first Monday of every month. Okay, so the next thing we have, I want to introduce. I think it's the number.
Okay, hold on. Okay,
So Bob part of it.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. So this was the other thing. How many of you get bites and read the bites every month? Yeah,
hey,
not everybody.
That's a-
I know some people have.
that's a pretty good
problems with it.
percentage,
And yay.
more than I thought.
So the thing that, one of the things, like if you bring your computer in and I do, is I like to put our website CCCGC.info as part of your favorites so that you can go look at it to see what news we have. There's a lot of information out there. And there's, in the events, this is an example of our calendar. This is not the current calendar up there. And
It's
we
2 years
do
ago.
have hard copies over there for November. There's, like I said, there's only one class and it's this Thursday. And it's maintenance and backup that, Lydia will be, training on. So, but it's a good thing. So I'm gonna introduce Bob Hardeman. And he is gonna talk about the upcoming election. For the Charlotte County officers and directors.
Good afternoon.
Talk into it, Bob.
You have a problem with my accent. The election's December 1st. And I have nomination forms if someone wants to nominate an additional person. Just make sure that person you nominate knows it, and has their permission. Otherwise, it's a waste of time. And we hope you all show up December 1st and vote early and often.
Only once.
Oh, you're.
Wait a minute.
Who's,
Okay.
The next slide is yours too.
This is a list of people that we have so far that have been nominated for candidates.
Oops.
Most of these were in the bites. There's been a few additions that just came in.
Why don't you read them, Bob?
The president, you got Jane McDonald. Vice President, Fran Robitaille. Secretary, Stephanie Ella. Treasurer, Lydia Rist. And for Director, Mary Fleener, Vera Hendricks, Mark Kreider, Jan from Whitey, CJ Metcalf, Rover Mudd, and Gus Rivera. So far. What else can I tell them? We good?
That should be it.
Second it. Second it.
Who's on first?
so the other thing, as a reminder, this is, the election will be Monday, December 1st. For the election, and that is the day, there will be no presentations. There will be the election, and then, we're gonna have, if you wanna bring, some finger food or hors d'oeuvre or dessert, and we'll share those with one another. And that will be at 3 o'clock on, December 1st, yes.
Jane, I wonder if we could have the nominees stand up. This is the first time I met Vera. I
Okay,
didn't know her.
I know, that's what I was, okay, I'm Jane.
Where is that gonna take place?
Stand up,
Here.
Jane.
Here.
Here.
And
Fran.
Fran. This is Stephanie Eller. Lydia Rist. Mary Cleaner. Vera Hendricks. Mark's not here. Jan criminal ID? CJ Metcalf?
CJ Metcalf isn't here tonight, but I'll give you a little background on her. She used to be a local talk show host here in the area. She's been very active in the community. She is a veteran. She has been an organizer for the different veterans parades. And she also is just now being given an award. She's a retired Coast Guard and she's being given the Wreath Award. I don't know a whole lot about it, but it's a very special honor. So that's her background.
Okay, Grover Mudd. And Gus Rivero. Oh, yeah, most of her, all of us here today, most of us.
How many directors do you elect?
5.
5.
Do you want to talk about this or you want to just skip?
We talked about Windows support, I think, and before all that, unless somebody has another question, I think we'll just go past that. One of the things, on our website is, I forget, it was earlier this year, I think Mark did a presentation on Windows 10, and I have told other people to go look at it. You can go to the presentations and go to the archives and it'll show Windows 10 into support, and that's something good to look at if you're interested.
Okay.
Okay, so now we have Miss Vera Hendricks, and she is one of our board members, and do you want us to drive? And her and.
no, I think I can
You
do it.
know, Vera and Frank
This one?
both work to do taxes for Charlotte County people that need those done, and they're very versed with the taxes.
I need a mic for this, yes.
Do you want-
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I'll ask you to change slides, thank you. So I'm here to talk about taxes, which is, don't fall asleep. But it is an important topic, yes, both Fran and I volunteer for different but similar volunteer organizations that help with tax preparation. So Fran volunteers for United Way IDA, and I volunteer for ARP TaxAid, ARP Foundation TaxAid, and we serve seniors in this area with free in-person tax preparation. So I presented some information on this last year, and I'll go over some of. In general, there are provisions that align with core objectives that relate to immigration, healthcare, energy, taxes. Okay. So let's keep going. All right, so these are the major changes, right? And you guys know that all this is posted on our website, and you can download this presentation at any time. Okay. So there's a new deduction. Hold on. All right, so there were some things that are now permanent that were temporary before, so that's probably not that significant. There's a new temporary deduction for overtime pay and the interest on car loans. They come with income limitations. These are new deductions that didn't exist before. There's a SALT deduction cap. State stands for state and local tax. It used to be $10,000, now it's $40,000.
Wow.
So if you can calculate all the state and local taxes that you pay, it might be worth itemizing to, and get that, right? So if you have properties plus the sales tax you pay, that's what this is about. There's a child tax credit that just increased a little bit, and there are some tax deferred accounts that now exist that didn't exist before. We'll keep going. Okay, so let's talk about older Americans in particular, because I think this is kind of similar demographic to what I'm talking about. All right, so must be at least 65 years old. Have a modified adjusted gross income. Just you can think of it as basically your total income, minus a few things like IRA contributions and such. But just think of your total income for now to simplify this. there's a larger number if you're married. Okay, so this is a $6,000 deduction that I mentioned earlier. It's not that the tax and social security is eliminated, is that you have an extra $6,000 to deduct. Okay, it's not a tax credit, it's a deduction. Right, so it'll further reduce your income. And it is deduction to, in addition to an existing tax break, and does not replace any tax breaks, you still get whatever you got before. Plus you have extra $6,000, and you can use it whether you itemize or not. And I will show you how that's implemented, on the IRS's end, or how they plan to implement. Okay, so again, this is a myth that Social Security is no longer taxed. I know it was a campaign promise, so there was some talk about it, but this is what they settled on, okay? It's $6,000 deduction. All right, let's keep going. Okay, I'm not sure why that's so late, but there's also something about tips, and I talked a little bit about overtime and car interest, but this gives you a little more information. I'm gonna read it because I don't know about the font resolves well. I didn't realize it was this low. So there's a tip deduction now, tips were taxed before. There's now a cap and some income limitations for not paying taxes on tips. And I'll talk about how that's to be reported. You must be in a customer field that is where you expect tips, hairdressers, masseuse, waiter, bartender. So this is to prevent employers from creating new job categories, which is paying people tips and not, paying taxes on those. So there's a provision there for customary professions. Okay, then there's overtime deduction. So we now have, deduction for that. It's basically, phase out of that means when you can no longer use it, works the same as the tip deduction. And the car interest, you have an extra $10,000 to deduct, in car interest payments. And again, there are some, limitations. Poundage on the vehicle, it should be assembled in the United States. You'll have a phase out that occurs based on your income, $100,000 or 200 if you're married, filing jointly. And, in the form, you provide the VIN, and the loan must have originated, in 2024. Okay. Keep going. All right, so I mentioned that I was gonna cover how, IRS plans to implement this, right? It means there's gonna be a new form, okay? And your accountant or tax advisor or software that you use to prepare taxes or the forms that you pick up at the library will all have this, okay? Now, this is still in draft form from the IRS. Also wanted to dispel another notion that IRS is not working because of a government shutdown. They're very much working, okay? They're funded through the end of the year, separate from what's going on right now. So IRS is alive and well. Okay. So if this is your Form 1040, that's your top, level tax return form, this will now have a line item from 13A to go to Schedule 1A. Okay, so it's gonna reference the Schedule 1A, and that's the schedule where all those new deductions that I talked about here for car loan, for seniors, for tips, that's where they're gonna come from. Okay, so it's in draft form still. And IRS should be publishing it any minute, one would hope, before the start of the tax season, which should start late January. I mean, barring any further communication, that's what we're gearing up for. That's what all the, CPAs in the area are gearing up for. Just a normal life cycle of a tax season, but there's a new schedule coming, okay? And that's where you gonna put in your deductions, okay? That schedule applies whether you itemize or not. And it will allow you to take advantage of some of this, breaks that I just talked about. This might be all. Let's see. Anything else? Is that the last one?
Nope.
Okay, all right, so I put some resources on here, so you can look at this draft Schedule 1A. You can look at more details of the tax provisions in the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. Not just the ones that I talked about, that it has a more comprehensive table, how things were before, how they're now, said some things about gambling losses there, for example, that I haven't talked about. There's some changes, in other situations. And there is a pretty comprehensive video in general about the changes that have come from the One Big Beautiful Bill Act as related to taxes, not as it relates to any other policies, but as far as it relates to the taxes.
That'd be the last one.
Okay, and that's the last slide. So I will take some questions. Keep in mind, I'm not a tax professional, I'm a volunteer. We are trained on certain situations to handle taxes in certain situations. And that's why both VITA and ARP Foundation will limit the scope of the clients that we take. Right, we will do your taxes for free, but you have to fall within the appropriate scope limitation. So that's not the last slide. I didn't
No, it
think so.
wasn't the last
Okay.
slide.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I just said there was the last item was.
Oh, it was the last-
The video.
Okay, that's awesome. All right, great. So yeah, I did mention in the beginning that we'll talk about how to prepare taxes for free. Some of this was for my presentation last year. So you can just brute force fill out forms from the IRS. That's always an option. That's always free. It's just clunky. It's a PDF that you fill out. That's how it works. IRS is a direct file program. So that's their software. They have limitations on scope, just like IRS partners do, and we'll talk about those on the next slide. And their scope limit, yeah, still, I'm not ready. Go back one. Okay, so there are scope limitations for energy efficiency adoption and college tuition. And there's significant limitations on retirement income. So, I would not use direct file. If you have.
Just a quick question, the IRS's filing system was not open in every state. Is it?
Oh, they've expanded it. I'm pretty sure they've expanded it, yeah, and this definitely applies to Florida. It's not a problem, Florida, because we don't have income tax to begin with, so that's just never an issue. But yes, there were certain states where direct file can also be used for state tax returns, but I'm not covering those because we're in Florida. Yes, there may be a couple that are still out, but they've expanded. I think they're like 30 states or something that's now part of that. Okay, and then there are IRS partners that can do your taxes for free, and that's where Fred and I come in. Let's go. Next slide, please. Okay, so keep in mind that there are also commercial software IRS partners that have free file options. Again, they're based on income limitations or tax situation limitations. So this slide lists the major providers of how you do taxes for free online. This is online software. So you can go to each of these and see what works for you. They're all kind of, slightly different in the scope that they limit. But generally, complicated tax returns, you won't be able to do for free. They will upsell you. They'll still be able to using all the information you enter, but they're like, okay, well now pay us $50 because you have a state tax, or because you have rental properties, or whatever else. Okay, so let's keep going. All right, so that's where Fran and I come in. So there are VITA, which stands for Volunteer Income Tax Assessment. So by the way, we are looking for volunteers currently. If you're interested in becoming a volunteer tax preparer or a greeter, and we have many other positions within tax aid, I'm sure United Way does too. I'm happy to talk to you about that. It's just another wonderful volunteer opportunity where all the training is provided. So you don't have to have prior tax knowledge. I didn't have prior tax knowledge before joining. By the way, now I'm like a state coordinator for Southwest Florida for entire ARP Foundation tax aid, because a good team doesn't go unpunished. I started as a first year counselor, and 6 months later, I'm in charge of most of the state. So anyway, this is about VITA. There are income limitations on the VITA end, the United Way end. So roughly $67,000. That number might be updated slightly to be higher this year. That's last year's number. And so we are not CPAs, but we are trained and held to a high code of conduct standard. So we go through training, we pass the test, we sign off on a bunch of conflict of interest and ethical behavior and security of taxpayer data and IT related security matters. So it's a pretty comprehensive program. that qualifies volunteers, to be able to do this. And again, we may not be right for you if you have a complicated tax situation. So some of the top exclusions are if you have a business, small business on the side that runs at a loss. So we're not going to take your Schedule C. We're going to do a Schedule C if you operate at a loss. It's okay if you're an Uber driver or you sell craft fairs or something like that. That's fine, but you have to show some profit. Okay. Also some complicated Schedule Ds, capital gains and such. Capital gains are okay, but there are some complications if you have foreign investments and things like that. So that's what complicated Schedule D refers to. And casualties and loss are out of scope. So what these are generally have in common, and I guess I'm on the record, but so off the record, I will tell you that in these areas you can fit. Okay, these are not like ironclad areas. These are not hard numbers. These are things that it will be hard for IRS to verify. It's very easy for IRS to verify what your retirement income was, what your W-2 was, like your sources of income and how much you withdrew and all that. They get the same form. You get a 1099, they get a 1099. You get the brokerage statement, they get the same brokerage statement. So they can cross-check these things. These are category of items where they don't really get paperwork. So these are items where, a taxpayer tends to, can take some leeway, let's say. So we don't take that because they're out of scope, because there's opportunity to cheat. I'm summarizing this right? So we don't take these situations because, you can claim the house burned down and things like that. All right.
Gee, a driveway,
So, okay. This is the ARP Foundation website, and we are at Centennial Park and Punta Gorda Library. I don't have a phone number for you yet where you can make an appointment. The number will be available around January, or you can go to either of those sites to make an appointment, or you can just contact me and I'll let you know how to make an appointment at that time. You don't have to be an ARP member to get this help. So welcome everybody. Again, the only exceptions are the scope, and we can help you figure out if you fall within the scope or not before we start working with you. It does sometimes happen that we start and halfway in, like half an hour in, we just sorry, you have rental properties, that's no go. You didn't check the box though, so so we try not to waste people's time. So we try to screen out pretty early to see if you qualify for this service. Okay, let's keep going. That's it. One more. Oh, okay, cool. So yeah, and VITA, Fran volunteers for they're here in this building. So, and I'm sure you guys are gonna start early February, late January.
saw a sign out front.
Right, so there's signs on the front there. So it's a similar program, just have slightly different scope. I would say that ARP Foundation is a little bit larger scope. Like we can technically take a 25-year-old millionaire, and do their taxes for free, but chances are there'll be some situation that disqualifies based on scope. Foreign investments, cryptocurrency, rental properties, something like that. Go ahead, Anna.
Question, I'm only seeing two libraries up there, so you're only doing these at the two libraries that are listed on there?
So, those two locations are the Charlotte County location. So there are locations outside of Charlotte County. And you can go on the website, on that website, and the locator site will be up in January, and you can locate, there are a lot of sites around Fort Myers and Venice and Sarasota. So, it's statewide, really. My area, what I'm responsible for, when I said I'm a state coordinator with Southwest Florida, that's basically from here, from Charlotte County down to Naples. So that's the area that I'm responsible for. Okay, yes, I'll take questions now.
Yeah, you didn't talk about social security tax.
So I think I did, but hold on, let me get the lady first.
Nobody's ever touched on this. I never heard anything, but my girlfriend and I were talking about when you gift your children, like Christmas time, you say, okay, I'm gonna write a check for the kids, and instead of buying stuff, right? So how does it get on your taxes if you're generous And, like, there's a limit what you can give them, and how do they know that? Is it because you wrote the check, or how do you, anybody ever give any big amounts to their kids? I think that's what I would.
Okay, great. So this is a question slightly outside the scope of what I've covered here, but, so charity contributions, that's not children, I understand. Charities are tax deductible if you itemize limits on that. There's always an option to go in and report other income and on the 1040 and the IRS. Very few people do that, but it's like IRS makes it pretty easy for you to report other income. If those kids choose to report the that gift,
Gift is not
and
income, though.
let Fran add, because there come up other situations that.
But gift is not income.
That's correct. The gift is not income. Okay, the IRS, the government says you can give a certain amount to anybody you want. No tax consequences, you don't have to report it. It's like 15,000 or something like that now. So if you give your kids more than that, what happens is that it's complicated. It reduces your estate exemption that you get when you die. Right now you can live in a state of 15 million. I don't even know what the number is. It's big. And if somebody had millions of dollars and they start giving $1 billion to each of their kids, it would reduce that $15 million exemption when they die. So the same thing sort of happens if you give a kid $50,000. In theory, you're supposed to file a gift tax return, so the IRS knows that a gift was made. No tax consequences, it just reduces that exemption you get when you die. For most of us, not gonna matter at all. But there might be a little bit of paperwork that you have to deal with if you do it right. But there's no taxes for, either the giver or the person receiving it. You don't have to worry about it.
On the IRS, I know you give 50,000 away, there's
I don't think they do, but if they ever figure it out. then
Yeah.
I don't- Yeah, but if your estate's $1 million, with a house and, some assets, it's not gonna matter in the end. One last comment, anybody here still using Windows 10, that we talked about a bunch of times? TurboTax, if you buy TurboTax software to do your taxes on your own computer, will not work on Windows 10 with the 2025 software that you get next year.
Interesting.
Okay, you can still do it online with TurboTax, but Windows, TurboTax already announced that it will not work on Windows 10. Okay, that's the connection between taxes and computers that we've all been waiting for.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, so feel free to give to your children.
Mhm.
Okay, I'll come back over here. Of course. You have a question about Social Security?
Now, Vera, you didn't talk about social security tax. Are we taxed?
So there's a worksheet to figure out if you are. And so some Social Security can be taxed. There are income limits. Half of it is usually not taxed, period, no matter what. And then there's like a graded formula to figure out what else is taxed. And that $6,000 deduction could potentially help you avoid the rest of it or part of it. But there's no changes on there's no change on how Social Security is taxed other than that additional $6,000 deduction.
We used to have a $12,000 deduction.
So that you still have that. So that's what I'm saying. That's in addition to any other previous deductions that you already have, right? Chances are that 12,000 represented maybe like half of your total Social Security income receipt. Any other tax questions? Okay, well, thank you. Okay.
Great job, Vera. Thank you so much. Oh boy.
Refund check.
Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do are door prize drawing.
This is for the door prize.
Red ticket. Or just do the last three numbers.
Last three numbers.
Last three numbers, 893. 893. All right, Keith.
Right up front.
893. Take your picture for the.
All right.
Is that the blackmail or what?
Boy, there's a lot. How much
In
is?
this, we have $36 this time. So it's a nice
So
little.
we have $36 for the 50-50.
Maybe
Some
Rob will win.
lucky person is gonna take me to dinner tonight.
Dreamer.
I know. And the last three numbers are 915. 915.
Not me.
Again?
Oh.
915.
Nobody's blaming? Oh, Gloria, you gotta be kidding me.
Right ticket, 915.
Nobody liked the building, so.
Going,
Look up again.
draw again, I
Summer.
guess, right?
Yeah.
Nobody's-
915, white ticket. Everybody check theirs?
We found it.
Go.
Agnes. Yay.
You need to get your picture, so.
Wow.
Don't send it all food.
Oh, did that.
Roy, is that it?
That's it.
Jane, you're lucky. Because if I would have given you a wall dog. Oh, so, okay.
Okay, I think we're about adjourned. Does anybody have any other questions or comments or anything? Again, thank you for coming to the meeting. We appreciate it. Great show, and we hope to see you.